All right, and we're live.
Mm-mm-mm.
Hey,
Nice.
what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Cut. This is episode 8. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome back. It's been a minute. But I just want to welcome my guest, Wes. Wes, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Wes Marshall. I'm a media arts major over at UNT. I don't really have any specifications yet. There's nothing I specifically am. No, I wouldn't say I'm a DP, wouldn't say I'm a gaffer, wouldn't say I'm do audio quite yet, but I do it all right now.
Hmm. What would you say got you into media that wanted you to
I
do?
just yeah, the creating. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of us are creative and we have that need to make something, and so media is just kind of like one of the best ways to go about doing that.
Mhm.
Like I know you're specifically more into like the film style of things. Is that right?
That's correct.
I saw I think the last interview you did was over someone who did animation, which
Yep.
I've done a little bit of as well. I find animation's like a super cool medium for making art because you don't like need anybody else. You just need an idea and then you can create everything else yourself, sort of straight from the head to, whatever media you want. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been really cool to interview a lot of really creative people that I, when I typically have the opportunity to meet. Um,
Yeah.
is there a specific type of media that you're planning on getting into?
Yeah, I think as of right now, like with NTTV entertainment, which is I don't know how much you talk about UNT on this podcast, if I need to like explain what that even is, but it's
You
it's
can,
like we
yeah,
have yeah, I'll dive into that. That's like sort of this department where it's all like kind of sort of student run, where we just get together and make different TV shows. And that goes from narrative films to game shows, scripted, unscripted. We even have a late night show, which is super cool. That's been going on for like 20 something years, like almost 30. So, and all of that is film based. A lot of people in the media arts department are here to work on movies. And so that right now is like kind of what I'm getting into. I'm doing some gripping work. So I'm starting to buy some lights, got myself a nice camera. We're going the film direction, but I think ultimately the dream is to sort of return to that almost YouTuber mentality, of like the do it yourself, like a podcast like this. Like we're all media arts majors. We should all be making media. I don't know anybody else who has a podcast though. My good friend Caitlin, she does.
hmm. Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you had said earlier, but I feel like everybody has that creative side. Um, I think we're just kind of like not necessarily trained to not be creative, but I just don't know that many creative people. And I feel like those that I do meet, I have friends that are animators, and I have friends that are like really talented, like artists that they draw, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish you could. I wanted to bring them on for, I guess, blocking or anything like that for filmmaking, but just like
Yeah.
I'm trying to actively create a space for my friends so that even if they don't have that place to grow, that I'm just a small part of their life that they can grow in their skills and whatever actually they want to get better at.
Yeah, having an area to do that is fantastic. That's like one of the biggest reasons I decided, because I was working at a motorcycle shop. I was doing like kind of blue collarish work. And, you work 40 hours a week and you don't talk to anybody who makes art or creates really. And so it's hard to create yourself because you get home, you're tired, you want to hang out with your friends or just go to bed, or you don't really have like the means, the environment, a creative environment. But here, going to school with like people like you and others, it's like everyone's making something. A lot of people are, like I know people who start Instagram accounts where what they do is they just get anyone who's doing projects, wants to be on projects, and they just start advertising it and creating like environments where people can just make together. Um,
Yeah.
but it's good. You said something about you mentioned how it's like everyone has a creative side, but that's like sort of almost suppressed. And I think that's like definitely true. I think it just comes with like having so much media to consume. You know what I mean? It's like, why create when there's so much already being made? But you know, for me, I don't even think it's like about coming up with original ideas. It's just like, ugh, I need to make something. And then once you finish making it, you can hold it like almost in your hands, you know? It's like, oh, look at this tangible thing of content that I made,
Right.
you know? And that's like, it's good for the soul
It really
for me.
is. No, I
Yeah.
mean I agree. It's really sad the fact that I feel like there's so many people that have that one thing that they're really passionate about, um, and they don't have the proper outlet for them to really get better at those skills.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I wish that they did, but I say this as somebody who was homeschooled my entire life. I really wish that the education system really did a better job trying to help people explore those creative talents better.
Yeah.
Um, and I really wish that there was just a place where you could learn a lot of different skills, and not have the pressure of having to figure everything out by the time you graduate and you're only 17 years old.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it, I mean, honestly, it's kind of messed up because you're so young and you don't even know who you are yet, and you're just you're expected to know what you want to do. And so I've been talking with some friends. Um, I don't know if I should be talking about this. I mean, I guess it's fine. But
Air it out, air it out. Oh, can we
right.
cuss? I'm gonna try not to cuss. Air it out.
Yeah. I have been thinking a lot about starting a program, and the the inspiration behind that was actually from a class. I don't really like to give credit to college classes because I don't really, unfortunately, learn a lot from college classes. But this one actually sparked an idea for me, and it was our final project was to create a course that um, we would. It was basically like a 4-hour seminar that we would be teaching a just something that we're really passionate about. And so I
Mm-hmm.
decided to make a
All right,
project
like a
about.
workshop or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I decided to make mine about filmmaking 101, from pre-production, post-production, how to come up with the concept to final edit, and then you're putting it out there. Because I feel like YouTube is such a great resource. Because when I was first getting started 3 years ago, like YouTube was the best resource because school didn't
YouTube
teach you
University.
really, really. Um, And so I've been talking. I was recently talking to my friend who's a music producer. He actually scored our last short film, and I was saying how I love to get him and a bunch of other people along this project. Um, Potentially, and this isn't anything that's maybe going to happen anytime soon, because I need to go into like how I would make this happen.
Yeah, but
But
you just you get excited about these ideas and you start talking to
right,
them. You know, it'll never happen if you don't at least start talking about it, right? But
right.
as you were saying.
Right, but I want to, like I said earlier, I want to be able to create a space for people. They don't have to be still in school. They could be in middle school, high school, college. And then there's really no like age range that I'm targeting right now, as of right now, because I would just want to show people that you can explore multiple different outlets. Because I have friends who are actresses. I know people who are producers, animators, graphic designers, you name it. Like I'm probably connected to somebody at some point, and I want
Yeah.
to be able to show people that I'm bringing all these variety of different people together to kind of you pick what you want to learn if you're interested, or you learn bits and pieces of all of it, and you are learning from all these people who have experience in the field. And then from there, if you're really interested in them, you connect with them, and you see if they can mentor you. Because I feel like that was one thing that I lacked in everything that I learned up until college, even in college, I honestly learned everything myself. There was only so much that
Yeah.
college class could teach me, but I learned how to be an overseer and a producer and kind of seeing the overarching picture of something all by myself. Like no high school class taught me that, no college class taught me that. I mean, all those raw skills I got honestly from my mom because she does the same thing. And I'm just like I feel like I like to um, see the overarching picture and see it from start to finish. And I really enjoyed doing that for our first short film. And I was like, I think it'd be interesting if I were to do this again. And so, with that being said, I'm just airing it out. Now I'm holding myself accountable that
Yeah.
I said it, and I don't really have a timeline for it or what exactly is going to come of it, but I said it, and I hope I'll be able to make it happen within the next 5, 10 years because I want to take the pressure off of, especially like high school kids. I want to take
Yes.
that pressure off of them
Well, everyone
to
should be
really,
taking a gap year for starters.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that'd be great to really figure out like what you want to do. I think it's
Yeah.
wrong of the education system to expect so much of such young kids and not really them even knowing what they want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I know that I wanted to
Hell,
do
hell
was
no.
all I know that I wanted to do was make movies. That's all I know. I mean,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how I was going to do it, but
Yeah.
if I if I had a resource like this, it probably could have helped me a lot more. Kind of pick a niche and something that I'm really good at, or even explore all options. Forget about one thing, um, and I want to be that person to create that space, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I think that space definitely exists in different areas. Because I waited, I'm also a transfer. I waited a while to go to school because I didn't know what I wanted to do either. And then I did understand that I'm a creative person. I like to create, and so going to UNT, like you said, it's like honestly these classes that I'm taking are really more of an excuse to meet people who are making things. It's not so much what I'm learning in class, rather the experiences I have because of the classes. So, you know,
Right.
um, I'm taking intro to productions right now, which I know that both of us have just finished.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we? The audio stuff is interesting, but it's nothing that I didn't necessarily know. And then with I'm at name drop him Javier, that class was like talking about the 180 rule. Like, what are we? You know what I mean? Like, I know what the run, I know what a 50, I know what a wide shot, I know what these are. However, then you get these assignments where you have to like make a short film. It's like, okay, there we go. Now I'm getting boots on the ground activity. And then a
Yeah.
majority of what I've learned is, like I said, through NTTV, acting in certain shows, editing certain shows. Um, you end up meeting people, and then these people are in other classes where they get projects and they reach out because they're like, man, I need someone to hold a boom pole. Okay,
Mm.
I saw Wes that one day holding a boom pole. Maybe I'll ask him to run audio for me or whatever.
Right.
So you end up networking with all these people at school, and it ends up being that environment that you're talking about, right? Where it's like you want people to be able to learn and figure out what they want to do without the pressures of them having to fall into a specific role. And
Yeah.
sometimes that can be hard, right? Because it's like if someone is working on an advanced film, for example, one of the capstone classes for the media arts major, you can't show up and be an AC if you don't know what you're doing. That's not the place to learn. So it doesn't always exist, but every here and there, you get these opportunities to work on something that's a bit more amateur and where there's a bit more forgiveness, where it's like, okay, if you suck at this at first, that's okay, because all of us are kind of using this as an excuse to learn, but it doesn't exist at the extent that perhaps it should. So that's like interesting that you're like, I mean, I think it's like definitely a good idea. Now, logistically setting that up is the challenge, but
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
you're already putting in work.
Right. I mean, I think half the battle was coming up with the idea and then
Yeah.
make, making those connections with those people that I like to bring on and have and have some sort of playbook for them to play into their strengths and show people, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how you can do it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just yeah,
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, we love making art. I think for me, something I'm learning is that the film is great. Film is cool. I love being on set. I know I'm sure you love being on set as well. It's one of those things
yeah,
where, like, matter of fact, today I got a call time at 7. So, and I'm like, uh, I don't want to, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. You know,
right,
but then I go and I always have like so much fun, and we end up creating a project or a
yeah,
nice product, and you end up meeting people, and it's like it's wonderful. I will say this: something I don't love about film is that you do need a ton of people. You know, every you need multiple people. So it's like, you're talking about creating this like sort of net of people to, work together, right? It's like that has to exist when it comes to film.
yeah,
But if we want to take it back to like something like animation or music, those are great to collaborate with people, but you don't have to. It's almost like a cool avenue for like, man, just go YouTube University and follow exactly what you're passionate about. You don't need to worry about organizing all this stuff. Now, if you do want to do film, like, yeah, you do. You
right.
definitely do.
Yeah, no, I mean, one thing that I realized was that I couldn't do everything myself. Because I'm the type of person that I'm like, okay, you're taking too long in this, especially with like a class project. I don't like sitting around and waiting for
You got to
someone
take
else.
over.
Yeah, no, I really do.
Yeah.
And it was
No,
it was it
totally.
was intentional, but I'm just like, okay, I can't wait for you to figure out what you want to do. So more often than not, I just take the lead on more school projects, and then I'm like, okay, I just need to iron out all this logistically, and it is more often than not a pain in the butt because you have to work on everyone's availability, and then if you need actors, you need to work on the actors' availability as well. Like it's film is logistically a nightmare. I mean,
Yeah.
but once you get people on set for a solid day or two, I mean, you kind of have to block out stuff like that because people's schedules are so busy. Between, I mean, if you're amateur filmmakers like us, I mean, you got to work around school, you got to work around work, and in your personal life. I mean, when trying to block out a solid weekend or something like that is near impossible.
Yeah.
So when you do that, definitely great stuff can be made. I mean, I made my first short film. It should have honestly taken us production probably should have taken us at least a month, but we did it within a weekend. Um, it was how do I say this? It was good and bad because we were happy with our final product now that it's all said and done. However, we had to go through four different editors over the span of 6 months because we ran into a lot of issues production wise, and
Right.
we were not able to recover properly, and it was pretty bad. Um, Unfortunately, that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. I mean, it is what it is at this point. But with that being said, I mean, you have to be able to learn how to pivot and adapt with stuff like that because stuff is going to happen.
Always.
People may, yeah, people may always when you reach out to them, they're right, like, yeah, yeah, I know, I can help you with this, and then when it actually gets challenging, if you run into an issue in production, they may or may not be as reliable as they once said, and that's not a jab at them at all. I
No.
mean, because when they signed up, you didn't really know that you were going to come run into these issues. So it's not always their fault. I mean, sometimes stuff just happens on set, and unfortunately, that's just the way that film is.
But
But
it's cutthroat.
it
That's what
really
I like
is.
about it. It's like
Yeah,
there's sometimes there are excuses, you know what I mean? For example, like when I wasn't able to do this podcast last week, right? That is embarrassing. But there's a way to go about doing it, I'm I'm not gonna say who, I'm not gonna say what, but I was on set the other day and someone picked up a tripod with the camera on it, and they didn't hold the camera and the tripod. They just picked it up with one hand. Camera fell off. What are you doing, bro?
Oh,
Like, and it's like, yeah, this is a place for people to learn, but I don't know. I like the cutthroat attitude where it's like, yeah, we want a place for people to learn. And yes, not everything is in everyone's control, but
mm,
part of the process is figuring out who are these people who, despite like the adversity or whatever, are reliable. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Who are accountable. When they mess up, they acknowledge it, and then you can actively see the effort they put in to amend whatever mistake it is they made. So that's another aspect, right? It's like
yeah,
finding people who, it doesn't really matter what position you put them in, they manage to put in the effort to get the job done at the end of the day.
yeah. No, I mean I agree, 100% agree because when my friend first reached out to me about the short film that we finished on, I reached out to pretty much everybody in my personal network, and what started as just two people grew to 25 people, and it was crazy. It was so cool because we I had these weekly meetings pre-production wise, and it was really cool to see all these different people who were a friend of a friend who weren't even my personal friend who are interested in a project like this. I was like, this is really
Mm-hmm.
cool. However, not everybody is able to show up for production, and then those that did show up to production, um, they said that they weren't able to show up every day, and then more often than not, I mean, I had only about 3 or 4 people from my initial crew, not even talking about talent or anything like that, that was able to show up on production days. So stuff like this, like you were saying, is it is cutthroat, and it helps us kind of weed out. I don't like that verbiage, but
Yeah.
help us prune. Who is actually reliable and who we're actually
Who
willing to
wants
call on.
it? Yeah.
Right,
Who
exactly.
wants it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you have to want it. Because
yeah,
everyone says they want it. Everyone wants to be the director of photography. Everyone wants to be the director. You know what I mean?
mhm,
These actors, like everyone wants to act. I mean, obviously not everyone, but a lot
mm,
of people have that dream. But only so many people somehow manage to prove that they actually want this. So
right.
I think another part of that is also like, you're organizing things outside of like a system, right? So if you're working at school, you see these people daily, you talk to them all the time, maybe you have class with them. Then it's so much easier to stay looped in, you know what I mean? Because they're not strangers online. I say strangers, when you're talking to a friend of a friend of a friend, it's like now we're getting to like, I don't know anything about this person. But
Yeah,
and then again, you're working from people who are probably in school, out of school, go to different
mm,
schools at different points of their life. I can only imagine how difficult that is to organize. So I mean, I like UNT because everyone is for the most part in the same boat. Yeah, we all have classes. Some of us have jobs, but Tuesdays, Thursdays, past like 8 o'clock p.m. We got some night shoots, and most people can make it to those, in my
yeah,
experience. But I'll tell you what, I'm not interested in producing. I know a couple of people who do it. My good friend Caitlin does it. I got a good friend Jackson. Obviously, you're a producer. Not envious of y'all's job. You know what I mean? Uh, Logistically organizing things like that just seems like a nightmare to me.
yeah. No, I mean, you have no idea, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, it's such a breath of fresh air once everything, all these different puzzle pieces finally just come together. That
It's
is
so
that
worth
is
it. Makes it all worth
it.
it.
Really is. It really is.
Yeah.
In production, when we really just go from talking in a group chat to actually everyone pulling up and showing up for hours, and then doing the same thing the next day or however long you're shooting for, and then taking those pieces and then be in post and piecing it all together, and then that's your final product. I mean,
Yeah.
logistically, I mean, it's a challenge because once you are done with it, then you're putting it to what is it? You're handing it out to the editors, and you have to like in constant communication with these people. Um, because it is super easy
To
to
lose the
like,
vision
yeah, yeah,
because like you said, not only is it impossible to organize people to come up with an idea and then meet up to film the idea, but then you got to make sure that the idea doesn't get lost when they're putting all the pieces you worked so hard to create together. I mean
right.
that's a cool aspect of film, is that it's
It really,
like it's a collaborative effort that almost is like without a little bit of luck, it won't happen. You know what I mean? You can
yeah,
have a great idea. You can have a great idea, but then people can't show up, or people show up, but you have technical difficulties on set, or you have a perfect pre-production, you have a perfect production, and then post is just a nightmare. And it's like
yeah,
there's a million areas where things can go wrong, but
right.
the breath of fresh air when it goes right, when everything
Mm,
is said and done, and you finish. There's like no other feeling, you know, that's like, oh
yes.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, those moments are the best. I mean, that's all I can say about that because,
Mm-hmm.
it's just it can be
Excuse me.
incredibly.
I'm dying.
You go. Um,
Oh Lord. Sorry, go on.
it can be incredibly stressful, and then, like you said, it can all come together. So, outside of NTTV, do you have any current projects in the pipeline right now?
Yeah, yeah. Outside of NTTV, I'm working on this one film called "Those Who Fall Are Not Forgiven." It's directed by one of the freshmen, Janessa, and she's pretty damn talented. And a lot of the freshmen are working on this project. Super cool to watch people coming in, fresh out of high school. And these are the individuals who did know that they wanted to pursue film. Right. I have a lot of respect for people who so quickly figured out, what they wanted to do with their life, because I'm not that way. But I'm working on that. We just honestly, what's really cool right now is it's the end of the semester. It's wrapping season. It's
Yeah,
people are getting the final edits done. It's all that hard work is coming home. I don't know a good phrase for that, but it's like I'm starting to see the fruits of the labor. And so
right,
that's
right.
that's a super exciting time for
Yeah.
me right now. And I think
Did
everyone.
Did you attend the Media Arts Film Festival? Because I think it was
I
this past
attended a
weekend.
Yeah, yeah, they've been having them all over. So they did the NTTV premiere where we watched all the NTTV shows, right? But then they also had a film festival. Some of them I've missed. I was there yesterday because I had a friend who did a documentary, and so I had a few friends do documentaries, so I was watching the documentary segment. And then they did the premieres for the A films, so just trailers for the A films. Sorry, not premieres. They didn't actually show. They haven't showed them yet. But I'm so busy with wrapping up some of these other projects, some of these A films that I'm working on. I haven't been able to see all those things. But yeah, what about you? Did you go and check out the premieres, or I don't even know.
No, I mean this weekend was really crazy for me.
Uh-huh.
I would have wanted to, but because I they were putting up flyers all over school. But I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I was already driving a lot this weekend, so I'm like, another drive out to Denton, probably not.
What is that? Like it's like that's like $25, I bet, of gas just to get there and back. It's
Maybe like
crazy.
5, 10. It's not terrible,
5 or
but
10. But yeah, but you don't want to say that, because then it makes you look like you don't have a good excuse. You got to be like, nah, it's super expensive. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's super far.
It's hard to justify. It's hard to
Right, right,
justify. I ride my
right.
bike. I live right next to campus. I ride my bike to campus. I
That
love
that
it.
must be nice, honestly.
It
Yeah,
is, man. It's when I was moving out here, my mom was like, "You gotta live right next to campus." I was like, all right. Well, so if we got lucky, we found a place right next to campus, and I was like, "Oh man, great call on her part."
nice.
Um,
Yeah, no, because I would have loved to live on campus, but
mhm.
the at least for me, the additional expense of living outside of home was not necessarily as desirable as I thought it was. Because
Mhm.
in addition to student loans, you have to pay for living expenses and all that stuff, which is fine because I know if it's for some people. I'm just like
But it's expensive.
It really is. I mean, even for I mean, I'm just trying to pay off my student loans as quickly as possible, whatever that
Yeah.
takes. I mean, and, and my dad had to remind me of this. He was just like, "Okay, you told me before you start college you are trying to minimize your student loans. You want to live on campus. That doesn't make sense." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So then I was like, "All right, that's fine. I'll just commute." I mean, it's definitely a pain in the butt commuting 2 to 3 times a week, but I'm like, what? It is a lot for gas, but I definitely, you know,
Well, I mean, I would say there's a balance there, right? Because
yeah,
I think it's important not to prioritize. I think it's important to prioritize, and you got to figure out. Yeah, living on campus your whole time going probably not a good idea, especially when you're very focused on like paying off your student loans, right?
right,
And I'm fortunate enough to where I'm not in that position, so I don't have to worry about that, which is like whatever. I'm not trying to show off. I just,
yeah,
thank God I'm lucky in that sense. But there is something to I think be said about not. You got to weigh the cost, which is like, okay,
yeah,
I can pay off my student loans faster versus what are you missing, right? Because it doesn't, paying off your student loans comes at a cost. And that's not just the drive, it's being on campus all the time. That
yeah,
is, in my experience, something that I did like as soon as I started, is I would just stay on campus. And I met so many people so fast and got involved in so many projects immediately. And I'd had
mhm,
friends who, because I'm 24 and they were 18, and so I've got my head's a little bit more straightened out, and and they're not, so they're going through college, and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to get involved, I don't know how to make friends, I don't know how like they're just sort of lost. And I was
mhm,
telling one of them, I was like, what you got to do is you got to just you cannot go home to your dorm. You cannot go back to your house. You have to stay on campus. Do homework in the media arts building. Whatever you have to do, because the more you're around, the more you're seen, and then this gets to that issue you were talking about, which is when you're trying to organize and scout people out for projects. When you are seeing someone every day in on campus in the media arts building, it's like, okay, this person is always there. I can just go talk to them, and
mhm,
their friends are your friends, and so you get invited to these projects, and it's like that what that does is it makes that first part, which is getting people who you can rely on,
right,
it makes that process easier because this dude. He's always in the building at the same time, and it's like he can't say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to show up," and then not show up because guess what? I'm going to see you tomorrow. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, why wouldn't you show up? These people over the internet, it's like they don't text you back. They've fallen off the planet. They don't exist
mhm,
anymore. Um, so I mean, I would say you should, if it's in your cards, find a semester or two to live next to campus
mhm,
because then you don't have to stress yourself out with that side of the logistics. I mean, as long
yeah,
as you don't work and as long as you don't have class, you're right next to the action. There's not
right,
that, oh, all right, I got 30-minute drive over to film over at this location. It's like, no, it's, my friends can pick me up because they drive
right,
by my place to get there. Makes that whole producing side much easier. Doesn't make
yeah,
it easy. It makes it easier though.
right, yeah. And I 100% agree because I definitely think that that's in some part of my mind. I definitely feel like I kind of missed out on the whole college experience per se of living on campus with all your friends or being roommates with your friends or even living in a house. I mean, I definitely thought that at one point, but I'm like, as long as you're making those connections and you're seeing them hopefully on a weekly basis, I mean, connections are connections. It shouldn't matter if you're in each other's faces all the time. You should still be able to hold a conversation when you're with those people.
Well, yeah, and I think if you put in the extra effort to maintain those relationships, you're fine. You aren't missing anything. But it's just easier. And we work in an industry where it's like it's not as much what you know sometimes as it is more who you know. And this is what
Hmm.
they say. And
Right,
it's unfortunately true. I mean, we're in a networking job, you know?
right. Yeah,
Being on
I
campus makes
100%
that
agree.
easier.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So you're gonna move to
So
campus? Are you coming next semester? Maybe the one after?
we'll
You'll
see.
figure it out.
I've only, as of right now, I've
Because you
only got
haven't
two
missed
left.
it.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
you
mean,
only have two left, which is yeah. Because you
yeah,
haven't missed the college experience yet. You're still in college, and also,
true, true.
like you said, you're more objective focused. You know what I mean? I am like I talk to all my friends. One of them is a computer science major. He hates college. He's not walking the stage when he graduates. Another one of my friends, he's doing like HVAC type stuff. Ooh. So he's doing what is it called like he's doing a trade, and so there's no college experience, and neither of them care. They have
Mm,
zero interest in the college experience. I do. I'm biased. I am pushing my narrative. My narrative is definitely like, yeah, I think it's the way to go.
right.
But I know that you do all this extracurricular stuff, like again, this podcast, and that's networking, and that is makes up for not being on campus every day. But I still think you got 2 more semesters. You should find one, John. You should find one to chill out here for. That'd be fun.
I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a pivot.
Okay.
There are there are a lot of movies coming out this year.
hmm
I was just thinking about this. Do you have like a top three that you're looking forward to coming out?
So Project Hail Mary is something I've heard a lot about.
Hmm.
Obviously, it already came out, but I want to go see that movie a lot, like very badly. You know what I watched for the first time? Fight Club. I'm not supposed to talk about this, but I had not seen it before, and they re-released it in theaters in 4K for the first time. It
Really?
blew my mind. Yeah, yeah. So I went and I saw that like last Wednesday, I think, and that was really good. But I don't, you know what? Here's what's crazy. I'm a media arts major. I don't really consume a lot of media. If I'm like
Mhm.
completely honest, like I don't. I think Toy Story 6, 5 coming out.
Fine.
I don't know. Somebody told me that. I, what else is coming out? I don't know.
Well, I mean, at least for this year, you have the Odyssey, which is a Christopher Nolan film, Spider-Man: Brand New Day, and then at least I'm thinking more superhero based. They're coming out with the Clayface movie, which is DC, and
Ooh, I
then
saw the trailers for that.
yeah,
That
look,
I love
yeah,
the way they're taking the DC universe.
yeah,
Like, Marvel is doing the fun, high budget, like
yeah,
typical, and then DC is like, all right, let's take these characters and let's tell a
right,
story that it isn't. It's not. They're not action stories. It's a horror. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Clayface.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I think James Gunn taking over DC is probably a really good move for DC, because I feel like, I mean, you were seeing the same stuff with like the Justice League. I mean, I think the Justice League movie was okay. I saw the Snyder cut of that one. I didn't even see the original. Um, I just thought it was underwhelming. Like the
Hmm.
character development, maybe that's just me, and that's also because I was a little bit biased towards Marvel, anyways. But I feel like that story of you have all these random people and they need something to bring them all together was less compelling in Justice League
Yeah.
than it was like the first Avengers movie. Like
Yeah.
for the first Avengers movie, it was so clear, like
Yeah.
there was an imminent threat, and you had the death of Phil Coulson to bring everybody together and be like, let's do this. With Justice League, you had I think his name was Steppenwolf, who was like a almost like a henchman for Darkseid, and that was the villain. And they had that bigger imminent threat, but you didn't feel the weight of that. And also, I just felt like the chemistry between all the different superheroes of the DC universe just didn't flow as well as I think the writers probably thought it would have.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
Because I'm
I
not
don't
I'm
know.
not too big of a superhero fan. Obviously, I'm aware of it, but I do get the idea where it's like, yeah, I guess what's popular right now is taking that genre and flipping it. instead of having
Hmm.
a ton of heroes and it's like, oh no, they have to save the world. So that's why they have to team together. You
Right.
get different things like, Invincible, where it's like
Right.
you get the heroes turning into the villains and the villains turning into the heroes. You get more of
Hmm.
a nuanced perspective on it. The Boys, which I haven't heard a
Oh
lot
yeah.
about the new season, which is unfortunate because I that must mean that it's not that amazing.
Oh
Um,
really?
but yeah, I mean I've heard people like go like, yeah, they feel like they don't think the writers know where the show is right now. Now I haven't seen it. I'm just
Oh,
saying what other people have said.
okay.
But I love the idea of DC doing something that Marvel isn't. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
these superheroes, but let's tell stories in ways that Marvel just isn't. That's
Right.
cool. That they have to do that because they can't do what Marvel's doing because then you're competing against Marvel and it's like y'all are making the
Hmm.
same content. Make something different. Now you're looking now you have a new audience essentially.
Yeah. No, even like when they did trying to remember what film specifically, Joker. When they came out with Joker,
Yeah,
I think that
yeah,
was such a good movie. I don't know what it is. I really enjoy watching movies that go into villains' backstories, and why they became what they became. I think even forget about like DC and Marvel films. I think one of my favorite like villain origin story is Maleficent, and the way that they it's a the Sleeping Beauty's like villain. And the way that they wrote that story was so well done, in my opinion, because um, they showed her not as the villain, but almost like the victim, as to why she became who she became. Even then, even though she still put the curse on Sleeping Beauty, she still had this deep care for her. And they showed a different perspective that the original movie didn't do, and that was she became almost like a mother figure to Sleeping Beauty, and something that like the original film didn't do. So adding that level of depth to a story and almost like you said, flipping the perspectives and telling it from a different
yeah,
angle, I feel
yeah,
like is really compelling. And same thing with like Venom. I think that when that movie came out originally, I mean like that was really cool. It's almost like an anti-hero. Like
yeah,
that was
exactly,
cool.
yeah,
Because you always see Venom in like the Spider-Man movies as the main villain, right? But then you see it from he's really just like a regular guy who has a symbiote friend. Like that's all it is. I think stories like that's really cool. Um, yeah. So how do you feel about? I just thought of this. How
yeah.
movies like bigger budget production companies like Marvel and DC,
Mhm.
they are going for the higher budget films. However, the writing has gone down, and I feel like I can pinpoint that to say post Endgame or so, at least for Marvel specifically. That's the only one I can really target at this point. But like Endgame came out in 2019, right?
Mhm.
In my opinion, since 2019, I mean, it's been 7 years, which is crazy. But I feel like the production has gone up, especially with CGI, and then writing has gone down significantly. How do you feel about
Yeah.
that?
Well, I definitely that's got to be true, right? Because they had, Endgame was a culmination of years of storytelling, right? I mean,
Right,
um, and then what do you do after that, right?
right,
Obviously, there's source material to go to, but people want something new. So, are they once these companies get so big, you know what I mean? How much are executives steering that boat? How many people are you getting in who are still passionate about it? With the passing of Stan Lee and stuff, it's like you don't
right.
have, people come in who maybe have been reading, Marvel comics their whole life, and then what do they come in with more ideas that are trying to emulate the things that they read?
Hmm.
It's almost impossible. It's at some point you like just need to tell new stories.
Right.
You can't keep trying to tell the same story. So, I mean, to go back to the whole DC thing, it's like, let's make it horror because that's not
Yeah.
necessarily how these stories were told before. Now we can tell them again, but from a different perspective, you know?
Right.
Maleficent, or however you pronounce that,
Yeah.
right? It's like, that's so when you get people, and so you have these people who have these cool ideas, right? That are outside of the box. And when
Hmm.
you're talking about a multi-billion dollar, you know, industry, you know,
Yeah.
Marvel, it's like they don't want out of the box because out of the box could cost them a couple million, a couple
Mm.
100 million. But, you know, are we making art or are we making money? You're always making money. That's what makes the world turn around. But every here and there, they get somebody in there who's convinced them to say, hey, I've got this vision. And they're like, all right, we're going to put millions of dollars behind your vision. And then you get some cool stories. Like
Yeah.
maybe, you know, we'll see what's coming up. I liked some movies I watched recently were Marty Supreme and One Battle After the Another. I watched both of those. I thought those were both cool because, in my opinion, they were told in ways that aren't as traditional. Where you get Marty Supreme, who people just hate, and he doesn't even really, spoilers, he doesn't even really come up on top. He wins a fake tournament against, you know, this person who's his antagonist, right? Not even the antagonist of the film, just Marty's, you know, perceived antagonist. But
Hmm.
I don't know. It was just unique where it wasn't like a Marvel film where it's like, okay, Spider-Man's objectively the good guy and this guy's
Right.
objectively the bad guy and the good guy beats the bad guy, right?
Mm.
It's like, um, so yeah. But like I said, I don't really consume a lot of films. I don't think too much about that. I'm not so much a writer as I am just someone who likes to create. I think it's kind of cool to find people who have passionate ideas and then just work with them,
Yeah.
you know. Not to sell myself short about my own creative capabilities, but yeah, I like yeah, yeah. That's where I'm gonna end that thought.
Okay. Well, you had mentioned a while ago that honestly gave me the idea to do this in the first place. To a certain extent, you had said that you had always wanted to be a streamer and a content creator, and
Yeah,
I think you had told me that last semester,
yeah.
and it really got me thinking because back in like prime Twitch days, like 2018. I mean, at least for me, because that was like peak Fortnite, and
Well,
that
and
was when
it blew up during COVID too. You know,
yeah,
when everyone
yeah,
was locked inside, that's when people were
yeah,
making money.
yeah. So when some I've always wanted to stream, because seeing my favorite streamers like Ninja and Cypher PK, like favorite gamers. Forget about like just content streamers. I always wanted to just do that and to have an audience of online people and just talk or produce content that's true content.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then when you had told me that last semester, I was just like, huh. I mean, honestly, that kind of was the first step into me creating this podcast because then I
Cool.
started doing yeah because then I started doing a lot more research, and the more I was just like, you know what, I honestly think that this is a lot easier than I think it is. I literally just needed to find all the right resources. I mean, using a software like StreamYard has been phenomenal. um,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, one day I hope to be able to do cross platform streaming. I think they limit you to one platform per stream, but being able to cross-platform stream would be amazing because I'd love to be able to get onto Twitch and to Kick and to Instagram and TikTok and all these different places where every platform has
Yeah.
a different audience. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, yeah. So I don't know if I ever told you that, but that you saying that got me thinking. Yeah.
Oh, shucks. Yes, and I'm almost embarrassed because I haven't done a damn thing to pursue that since
Mhm.
I've mentioned it. But again, I think that goes back to sort of the idea of, you know, when you make a film, you have to get other
Mhm.
people involved. Other people have
Right.
responsibilities. And sometimes at the end of the day, it's nice to be like, nah, I just want to do it all myself. It doesn't work in all aspects, but when you're streaming,
Right.
yes, it does. Yes, you can stream with other people. You're obviously running a podcast that's reliant on having another person, but
Yeah.
you just want to create. You just want to like make. There's what is holding you back is doing it, is just
Right.
starting, and sort of the embarrassment of not having anyone watch. It's like
Mhm.
you can't let any of that hold you back because at the end of the day, we just want to create. And so I've got my little setup here. I've got my ZVE10 that I have set up, with my nice 3.2 f-stop for this nice blur. I bought a light recently, so I got this softbox. I think I set it a bit too warm. I think it's making me look a little a little yellow, I promise my
Yeah.
teeth are whiter than this. But I'm building up this like arsenal of sort of tools and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's been nice because it's like, okay, now what excuse do I have? I've got the
Mhm.
camera, I've got some lighting, I've got a computer that can run games. It's just, do I want to invest my time towards doing that, or do I want to continue what I'm doing now, which is working on films? I'm loving working on films. I think next semester I might pull back a little bit because I haven't been able to create as much of my stuff, not
Yeah.
enough coming from me.
Right.
And so, but yeah, streaming. I mean, the whole streaming and playing video games. That's like the dream, right? Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
like what could be a better job than that?
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
'Cause you got to
agree.
be funny. You
Yeah.
gotta, you have to be so funny, or have some dumb gimmick, or be good
Right.
looking.
Right.
So you gotta
You
have
know, 'cause
something.
that's why like watching people like Kaisnet or
Yeah.
Speed. I mean, them starting out with zero viewers. I mean, I think people watch Speed just because he's crazy and he's got a lot of personality and charisma. Um,
Yes.
and same with Kai as well. But they didn't start out with hundreds of thousands of viewers. And I
And a
that
budget to do the crazy things that they do now.
correct, right? And so that's the whole concept of, at least for me, building up. This is the legacy that I want to create. I want to be able
Mm-hmm.
to show people that, like, okay, I too started out just doing something like this, because I don't make enough or any content that is like not a bigger film type project. Even, I mean, my production company channel, I want to start making more content and just putting it out there on there,
Mm-hmm.
so that one, I can leverage that towards my business, but also having like a consistent portfolio showing that like
Yeah.
I'm still making stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I think I'm in a unique place right now because I have my own production company. Because you know, um, in the film section of our class, our professor was having us go around and say one thing that we're really interested in, and like what makes us unique. And everybody there, I mean, out of everybody there, there was like 10, 15 people. I was the only one that said I had my own business. I mean, that's not that, again, that's not a jab at anybody. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to get ahead of the curve almost, because I knew that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to um, run my own business after I graduate, and that's still plan A. But obviously, coming up with a plan B and plan C, just in the event that I can't right off the bat. I mean, I still want to be able to do something like this, because this is all I've ever wanted to do for the past 3 to 5 years. I just need to find maybe a backup and maybe a backup for the backup. Um, yeah.
Well, I think oh shoot, hand. I had a thought. I'm trying, wait, let me catch it. Let me catch it and bring it back. I got it. It was about creating, right? And having your own production company and wanting to produce content. That's something very interesting. That I've only recently started putting together because I've always made stuff, and my
Mm,
portfolio is on Instagram. You go to Instagram, you scroll down, you can see crappy animations followed by some nicer animations. Then I had a phase where I did Blender, and then I had a phase where I had a sport bike, and every
mhm,
here and there I would post edits of the sport bike, right? So all of them very different types of content, but still creating throughout the years. Now,
Yeah.
recently, if you look, I got my portfolio starting to build some cool visual effects. I've created a couple of reels that actually did okay, um, did better than any of my other stuff. And it was like, okay, cool. I'm sort of finding like an area that's both creating content that is rewarding for me, but also does pull slight audiences. That's exciting. That is, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the numbers thing is like such like a getting viewers, getting comments, getting likes. It's
Yeah.
like it's a very consuming aspect in the thing, but also equally rewarding. Um, but shoot, what was I going to say? I wanted to mention that uh oh my gosh, I'm blanking so hard on this because it's something that you said that like stood out to me, and part of it was the creating the content, and then the other part is, oh yes, so my first year of a little story. My first year of this semester, last semester, not year, my last semester, I spent a lot of time meeting people, being, you know, nice, figuring out who's doing what, you know, figuring out people I gel with, right? Okay, making friends. All right, this semester, there's something I learned recently, which is who is, you know, showing up and is social, right? And is
Mhm.
easy to talk to. And then who is not everyone who is great at making art is like super sociable. You know, you'll
Mhm.
meet someone and they'll be maybe mean to you, like they're having a bad day, or they won't be very charismatic, right? Like they're not very easy to have a conversation with. But then you go and you look at their social media, right? Which is essentially where people build most of their profiles now. And there is a lot on there. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, this person actually makes stuff. That's a
Yeah.
distinction that I've made recently that I've been more consciously aware of is paying attention to who is performatively looking like they have everything together, and then who's actually out here doing things. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're one of the people who are out here doing things. You do have your own production company. You do your
Yeah.
own podcast. You work on films where you're producing, and it's not for an assignment. It's like, no, no, no. I just want to do this, and so I'm gonna jump through all these hurdles to get people together to make stuff. Finding
Right.
people like that is super important. The distinction between, you know, people who are on set and they're having fun, and people who are on set and they're there to make something.
Yeah. 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 No, I agree. So I had thought of a question that I think is kind of something that I'm kind of dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that
Choke on
is,
this water again.
you know, excited.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I keep drinking water to keep my voice good, and it's backfiring.
so I've been talking with a lot of professors, basically about like what asking for advice as to what they think the good next step after post graduation is going to look like. Have
Mm-hmm.
you considered, and this isn't to be negative in any way, this is just me just
Mm-hmm.
simply being curious. Have you ever thought to yourself, what if it doesn't work out? And you,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because it wasn't working out. You know what I mean? Like I had all these ideas and ambitions, and then I graduated high school, and I was like, I don't like college. What I want to do, I don't need college. But I had to get a job. So then I went and
Mhm.
I got a job, and I just found that the drive wasn't there. You know, you work 40 hours a week, you get home. I don't like, I have all these artistic ideas. I don't really want to pursue them. The work ethic, the discipline, you know, that drive, it just wasn't there. And so I know what it's like to not make it. I'll be okay. I can work. I can carry a good attitude. I can do just about any job. I can learn whatever I need to do. But I know that I won't be. I know what I'm passionate about, and that's making art. And I know that I won't be satisfied if my job, no matter how much I make, you know, if I'm barely able to survive, or if I get lucky and I get to actually thrive and make a lot of money,
Yeah,
hypothetically. Um, for me to make it is to do something creative for money. That and also to have good community, right? So ideally a partner, because I'd like to be a dad one day. You know what I mean? To have a family. If I can have a family, then I'll have made it. if I can continue to have my friends over and continue the social life I have with them, then I've made it. And if I can go to work and do something that is creatively fulfilling, then I'll have
Mhm.
made it. I know that you're a religious individual, and so when it comes to the idea of what happens if you don't make it, um, I won't feel like I haven't made it until I die, you
Mm.
know, until I'm dead and I don't get and I can't put any effort towards it. I'm not worried about making it after I graduate because already I'm starting school so much later than a ton of other people. In that perspective, I haven't made it. It's like I'm almost too late, except for I'm never going to stop creating. I'm never going to stop trying until I'm dead. There's still the hope that I will have made it. And I think I am gonna make it. Because I think I put in the effort. I think I have
Mm.
the connections. I think I have the passion. And so I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
Whatever making it is.
Right.
Um,
Right.
how do you feel about that? Does that sort of answer the question?
It
Because I
does.
think perhaps your perspective of making it is perhaps a little bit different, you know? Or maybe it's not.
Yeah. You know, yeah, this is something that I've been unfortunately struggling with a lot with these past
Mm-hmm.
few weeks or months because I'm theoretically going into my senior year after this semester, and the the clock that I've the countdown that I have kind of until I walk across that stage pretty much next spring, God willing, but that deadline is looming over my head, and I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie,
man.
it's kind of intimidating,
Yes,
because
I bet.
and it's primarily because I want this is all I've ever wanted to do. I mean, honestly, this is being a filmmaker and a producer. I don't think I've ever felt so much joy and passion towards this have anything in my life, unfortunately.
That's not
And
unfortunate. That's
well,
not
meaning
unfortunately. That's good that you know that.
right, meaning like I and the unfortunate part is that I wish I found that out sooner. I sooner. I mean, like I know I'm young, but I knew that like I wanted to pursue film. I think 17 or 18 years old. I wish in some aspects I was exposed to filmmaking, the process sooner, which is why I have family friends who are interested in photography, videography, who are just wanting that production experience. And so with that short film that it was a bigger film, at least for me and my friend, I tried my best to create a space for at least one of those production days that if they wanted to come and help out and just be a PA and just help out with whatever I think of, then they're there. They're on set and they're getting that experience of being behind the camera or, holding a boom bowl or just being the script supervisor, anything that is helping shape their perspective of what production looks like, and if this is something that they want to pursue or not, because that's something that I didn't have. And so all that to say, that deadline is definitely looming over my head, and it's very intimidating because I don't know what it is, and this is also putting it out there. Within the past year and a half, so since December 2024, I just started looking for part-time jobs, media based and non-media based. This is a very real number. I have put in easily over 200 applications, gone to about 10 to 15 interviews, and we're talking part-time jobs, full-time jobs, and
Yeah.
internships, and it has led to nothing. And so,
Hmm.
it's so frustrating because I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm showing up, I'm I'm showing up early. Forget about even just showing up. I'm showing up early to these interviews. I'm applying to these jobs, which is taking time. I'm creating these cover letters, and it's so frustrating for me because I'm like, you have the people that are not putting in the work. You have people like me who are really putting in the work and going above and beyond, and yet people are not willing to take the chance on somebody like me. And so it's definitely frustrating because I'm just like, I don't. I've definitely felt this, where it feels like a jab at my own ego, where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and so I'm trying
Right.
to reach out to. And this is also another reason why I wanted to do this podcast with a bunch of different people, because I'm talking with already established creatives. I mean, episode 2 was a family friend in New York who's a producer for at one point the Jerry Springer show, and learning from people like him, you know.
Yeah. How
Uh,
did they do it?
right. And obviously, everybody has a very different journey. I completely
Mhm.
understand that. But at least for me, I'm just like, I started off incredibly ambitious, and I'm not in any way going to quit. Like that's not in my nature. I'm not going to quit or anything like that. But a part of me is definitely questioning if this is still the right place, because I'm putting in the work and it's just not showing. So it's definitely got me
Gosh.
questioning.
Yeah.
Because I I was just filming a project with my friend this past. It was on Friday after or Thursday after class. We were
Hmm.
doing our narrative film, and
Hmm.
I was just asking him. I was just like, "Hey, what are you planning on doing after graduation, or after you graduate?" Because he's a sophomore, if I remember correctly. And he's just like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I'll probably start working for a production company and work as a PA or anything like that." And I'm like, hmm. Because even
Like
that in
how?
itself, exactly,
How are you gonna do that? Because
right,
I've been trying, man, and so if
yeah,
you figure it out, let me know. I see what you mean.
yeah, and it's really intimidating because I'm just like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, and these people are probably. I'm not trying to inflate my own ego, but like they're probably not hiring as somebody as hardworking and as dedicated to this as somebody like me, and yet they're hiring all these people, and maybe a good majority of these people are more qualified than me, but I'm just like, okay, I'm putting in the work. I'm like, this is a ton of labor and a lot of time of me attending all these interviews, going to these career fairs, connecting with all these recruiters over LinkedIn, like where you name it, I've probably done it within the past year and a half, and yet nothing has come of it. And it's really forced me to kind of take a step back and be like, am I doing the right thing, or am I doing something wrong here? Because I'm just
Yeah.
like, and that's why I asked the previous question of, have you ever thought about what if it doesn't work out? Because I know some people think, when you think of like these motivational videos, what if it doesn't work out, but what if it does? For sure, right? But to me, I'm just like, this route is already super unconventional. Um, I don't know if you know this, but within the Indian community, like people go and pursue fields of the medical field, or being a lawyer or engineer. Like those are the run, or computer
Stems.
science, right?
Yeah.
Those are the generic and run of the mill fields that people within the South Asian community follow. And so for somebody like me who is pursuing a career in film, that was super unheard of. So me trying to go this route has been it's been a blessing for sure. However, it has definitely had its downsides, and the downsides have been,
Yeah.
because I'm the only one doing it. My parents can only help me so much. They can only connect me with so many people, and those people can only help me so much. Like there's only so much that they can do to help me, and it's really forced me to kind of be like a pioneer of this field, especially within my family and within the South Asian population, because especially within the DFW area, I don't know many other. I mean, I know like two that are also within the creative fields, but specifically actively pursuing a a career in film specifically. Forget about the creative field, because I know people that are photographers and videographers, and they have their own business for that. But specifically targeting something like film, that is completely unheard of. And so
Yeah.
seeing that and then still trying to find a job. I mean, forget about full time jobs. I'm just talking about like part time jobs, something I can do on the side in school, and I can't even seem to manage to get that. So now I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? Or if I'm doing
Well,
something wrong, what is it?
yeah. I mean, obviously that sounds super disheartening. The fact that it's like, because it's one thing to like not, uh, the specific issue it sounds like is you don't know what more you can do. And I
Right.
can't imagine what that is like, because it's like, how do you improve? You know, it's
Hmm.
like, I don't know where the holes are. So, I know that UNT does offer certain internships that I think they almost count as classes. There's like rules and regulations about how many hours you can be taking when you sign up for one of these things. I would recommend talking to Phil Slocum about that if you haven't yet, because through UNT they can help, you know, get you into that door. I also know that again, it is luck. I mean, it's like flipping a coin, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if it lands on tails 10 times in a row, while the odds are astronomically, you know, unlikely, it's
Yeah.
still possible, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I haven't here's I mean, I haven't tried to get into that yet. I haven't I haven't done a single gig or job or anything for any money at all. I haven't tried to. I haven't tried to find a job. So, you know, I still have sort of that ignorant veil where it's like I hear people talk about how hard it is to get a job. I don't know. All my life, every job I've ever gotten, I walked in and said, "Hey, I need a job," and then they go, "Okay, sure, you're hired." Like that's just how it's been for me.
Mm,
Now I'm talking about places like Saltgrass and this motorcycle shop I worked at. I'm
right.
not talking about you know, places that shoot commercials, but one of my good friends, his mom knew someone who has a commercial company type deal, and he was doing this gig for Lexus, making, you know, and he made a $2,000 check, and the rest of us are like obviously happy for him, but also like, dude, what the like we're all out here working, making art, and this dude is like brand new. He's a freshman and he just worked on a Lexus commercial. What are you talking about? It's so random. So, you know, they say comparison is the thief of joy.
Hmm.
I would say like, you know, there's certain aspects that are absolutely valid. Like when you talk about how you are sort of a pioneer for people of your culture, where it's like that's not a common career that they pursue, not just videography, right, or being in a creative industry, but specifically getting into film. You know,
Right.
and that's going to come with its own challenges. But I definitely don't think that you should get caught up in the fact that your trajectory is unconventional, because you're talking to someone who's the same age. I think I might have 2 more semesters on you, but like I can like I'll have 2 more semesters after you graduate to continue to iron my shiz out. But I don't know, man. Like you know, you just gotta have faith. You know, uh, things will happen when they're meant to happen, and they freaking
Right.
won't happen before. You know, if I were you, I'd have to try and convince myself that it's not time yet. It's not time to have a part-time job working on someone's Instagram, you know, doing someone's media, or it's not time to have a part-time job helping with lighting in a commercial studio or a photography place, you know. Um,
Hmm.
right now is the time for you to be doing your podcast, for you to be getting A's in school, for you to be doing whatever you're doing now. Because it doesn't,
Right.
you're not, I mean, I don't know about you. I get a little bit of time to play Overwatch sometimes, but I'm not,
Mm,
I don't, I don't have time to spend, you know, playing video games all day. I don't,
mm,
I am busy. I'm a busy individual. My calendar has got a lot going on in it. And because of that, I know it's all building up towards something. So you're not wasting your time. You're not
mhm.
stuck. You know what I mean? Um, you're just not where you want to be, which is
Yeah.
okay. but you got to get rid of this clock, this death
Yeah.
timer. That's definitely something you got to figure out how to get over, because
Yeah.
you need to be comfortable with graduating and having to work a different job while you figure out, I mean, you might have to work at Sam's for a bit.
Right.
No one wants to hear that. For
Yeah.
me, it's one of these things where it's like after college, golly, I hope I can go straight into the industry. But
Mhm.
I have thought about it. I know exactly where I'm going. If I don't, I got a job that I worked at for a while. They treated me nice. They could have paid me better, but I know that they have a job for me. So
Right.
there's security, and I'd be what, 26, 27, probably gonna go live back at my freaking mom's, man. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, I pray that that doesn't happen. Uh, but I'm not gonna. It's just gonna happen if it's gonna happen.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's
Yeah.
tough, bro. That's what everyone in our industry is talking. I think some people, don't know that the day is coming where
Yeah.
they graduate and it's like, oh shit, this piece of paper isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you're painfully aware that graduation does not mean that you will get a job. That you might as well search now. But also, you do have 2 more semesters. You are doing a lot. You're okay. You'll be okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
You can't. That stress is gonna show in your work. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? People want to connect, and if you're up in your head and you're stressed out, people can't connect. You know,
Mhm.
not to say that you expressing all these worries isn't something to connect to. Deaf people, I think everyone does, especially in
Yeah.
our industry. But yeah, bro, that's scary. I'm so sorry
Yeah.
that you've had 200 applications. I tried to work at the what's it called, the equipment room. I didn't get
Mhm.
that job. I was pretty disappointed, but that was like the only job. I tried to be an advisor, I don't know, a representative for transfer students, a student transfer student ambassador. Tried to get that
Yeah.
job. I didn't get that job either. So those are the
No.
two that I've tried to get recently.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, in theory, working a on-campus job is appealing for a bunch of different people. But what I
Yeah.
realized very quickly was how competitive it is, and how
Yeah.
that's why it's so hard to get, because you're talking about they're willing to work on your school schedule, um, and that's why it's so it's there's this big market for it because everybody wants it, right? But I kind of gave up on those on-campus jobs because I'm just like I'm competing with so many people, and on top of that, I'll probably only be able to work 2 days a week because I only go to campus 2 days a week. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
personally. I'm not willing to go another hour and a half a total drive just to work a 10, 12 hour dollars an hour job. Like that's
It's not 10 to, yeah, it's not 12. It'll be 10. It's only
mm,
10. They do not pay above 10. It's You're
yeah,
not working for anything. Yeah. No. Excuse me. It's the internships. The UNT, you got to talk to Phyllis Slocum. She
yeah,
offers there are paths for getting internships through UNT. Yeah, I would
right,
definitely recommend that path,
yeah,
especially because I think you have enough time to look into it. Uh, you might have to do it your senior year, but that's probably an ideal year to be doing an internship,
right,
especially if they like you, then you can go straight into that industry, or at least you
right,
just have some experience.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Gosh,
It's yeah. It's been a challenge because I'm just like going to the career fair for media arts. Like every professional was saying, get an internship, get your foot in the door, and more often than not, that will lead to a full time job. Like everybody that I talked to at every single table, that was their story, and I'm just like, okay, that was low key kind of like my plan B or plan C. I was like, okay, I'm gonna reach out. That little program that we got that day with the list of all those recruiters,
yeah.
I
Mhm.
tried to connect with all like 40 of them over LinkedIn. And I'm like, hey, I send them a little message with each connection. I'm like, I really love what you're doing with your business or your company or whatever. Do you have any open opportunities, or are you just trying to cultivate a conversation?
Did you send them your resumes?
M- Most of them, but typically, I was trying to start out with just creating a conversation as opposed to
Yeah,
just
that is the
here's
way
my
to do it.
resume.
Yes, this is true. Fair enough.
I would have, but then to a certain extent, I'm also not, because like you have your personal information on your resume. I'm not trying to send it out to everybody, if that makes sense. But also, I'm
Hmm.
like, so I'm not, I'm desperate, but like not to the point of just like, please, I'm gonna send you my resume. Please hire me. Like, I'm not to the point of begging, right? I'm still
Because
asking
that,
for
yeah,
help,
because they can see that.
right? I'm not wanting to let that show through me. I'm like, I'm willing to put in the hard work, and you will notice if you give me the chance. Unfortunately, nobody's really given me the chance to show that and prove that. But that's okay. Um, I'm just at a place. I'm at a place right now where unfortunately I'm learning that, like you said, a lot earlier than most of our peers are probably going to learn it. I mean,
Yeah.
most of our peers are probably going to learn it after after graduation. I've just, because I've been living at home and I only go to campus 2 days a week. My parents are definitely like, you need to do something. I mean, school is obviously the number one importance, but they want me to get a job, to work part time, and it's been it's been a it's been a journey. So yeah. Um, uh,
Yeah. Yeah. That sucks, but it's our industry, you know.
right.
You'll make it, bro. You'll survive.
I
You will.
appreciate that.
Eventually. We all do
Right.
eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get around to wrapping. I think we've got a good. But as we start to close, I'd like to
Yeah.
ask all my guests. Do you have one overarching message that you would like to share with either people of our generation or people of the next generation who are just, they want to pursue either a career like this, or they want to do something that's unconventional? Do you have one overarching message for those types of people?
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, it's you know, you have to ask yourself like what you want out of life, you know?
Mm,
And I think what that answer almost always boils down to is happiness. And whether you think you get happiness from making a lot of money, whether you think you get happiness from fame, or whether you think happiness comes from uh, having a job that is like rewarding to you. um, I think figuring that out is the number one for me. I like my friends. I'd like to have a family, and I'd like to do a job where I feel competent and I get to be creative. So,
mm,
with that, um, what is it worth to you? Put it, and if it's worth everything, put in all that work. Uh, you know, I I don't know. This is more like a message to myself, but don't be lazy, bro. You guys we cannot be staying at home. We cannot be playing video games. This is like a message directly to me. Like, get outside,
mhm.
do something, plan something, make something, uh, and it'll, there you go. I don't
Uh,
know.
well, I was just going to say, um, to what you were previously talking about, I think you've got the grit to definitely pursue what you want to pursue, because I think that all that creativity that each of us individually experience, I think
Hmm.
that wasn't on accident. I think God puts that inside of each of us, or puts one thing inside of us that we really, really enjoy to do, or that we aspire to do. I think there's one thing inside each of us, and so um, I mean, you wanting to stream full time and being a content creator, I definitely think that if you, again, like you said, remain continue doing what you're doing, but also remain consistent. Because I think that was one thing that I really struggled with, not just with creating content, but even for just like either remaining consistent in the word or trying to remain consistent in going to the gym or anything like that. I feel like I've
Right.
always seen in some aspect of my life like struggle with consistently because no one's really holding me accountable. But the best person to
Yes. Yes.
hold yourself accountable is yourself, one, but two, finding people who are willing to come alongside you and you walk together and being like, hey, like I need help with this, or I'm
Yeah.
struggling with this, or this is my goal, and this is hopefully my end goal. I need help. Can you hold me accountable? And together, you do it together. You do it for him as much as he would do it for you. You know,
Yeah. Well
uh,
said.
because with that, I mean, and also you gotta start small. I feel like
Yeah.
we put too much pressure on ourselves to go from 0 to 100
Yes.
right
Because you're
off the
on
bat.
social media all day looking at what
Right.
100 looks like. You know, you just
Hmm.
scroll and you see people who are at the best of the best,
Right.
at their peak. You know what I mean? You're not looking at the career, you are looking at a culmination of so much work and effort.
Yeah.
And then you're like, where's all that for me? Why do
Right.
I not have the money and the talent it's like, because it's not how it works. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, what you had said earlier about comparison is a thief of joy. I
Yeah.
100% agree because
Yeah.
especially on social media, you see people who are successful filmmakers, they have successful video agencies, you see all these different influencers, and you're talking about people that are racking in six figures every single year. I mean, you see that and you're just like, whoa, that's crazy. I'm gonna do the same thing. I mean, I know at least for me, when like drop shipping was all the rage, however long ago that was, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too, expecting the same result, but not
Yeah.
really understanding that, like literally all the sleepless nights, the blood, sweat, and tears you're pouring into it, and then for it to fail, and then for you to learn from those experiences, and then, like you said, one day it'll hit. It's like trying to go viral for the first time. You know, you're probably not gonna understand it, and it really does. It happens. It has to happen at pure randomness that the algorithm
Yeah.
just picks it up and it just blows up. Um, but
And it has to happen for the right reasons. You can't,
right,
drop shipping is the whole concept of making money almost easily,
right,
like
yeah.
you
I mean,
just do
you're
the
reselling.
logistics. You
That's all
don't,
you're doing.
yeah, exactly. And then going viral is like, okay, well, let's not create anything meaningful. Let's just create something that gets picked up by the algorithm. It's
Right.
like bad faith, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I think continue to create with, um, pure intentions.
Hmm.
Create for the love of it and not for any other reason. Because if you're not making because you like it, then you're making for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a streamer because I think it would be an easy job. I uh, I want to be a streamer because I just think that would be a fulfilling career to
Right.
learn how to be a personality who is of funny, good energy, and of nice morals, and then that
Mm.
gets shared. You know what I mean? I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of celebrities, and a lot of them are evil. We need some
Right.
celebrities who are good and steer and you need role models and stuff.
Right.
That would be cool to do. It does come with like ego, being like, oh yes, a celebrity. People would look to me as a moral compass. Some like guy
Right.
playing Overwatch on stream or something.
Right.
Uh, I did want to ask, have you ever considered pursuing a career in education? Because obviously that's not, you want to produce, you want to direct, you want to work in film, but you're just talking about so much about cultivating an area where people can learn and grow and stuff. And that to me, that feels like that would fall under education.
Mm. I never really thought about that. Um,
Maybe you should. Maybe you should
yeah.
give that a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not as glamorous, but you don't know, because it might be just as rewarding as anything else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been saying I don't want to teach forever. I don't want to be a teacher. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, like, if that's like what I'm called to do, you know what I mean? Then maybe education would be something for me. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think there's a certain level of irony that we experience throughout our life where we often say like, at some point, like we're never gonna do this, because like I told my mom and my dad that I never wanted to go into the medical field, or even like
Yeah.
after a specific internship at a church. I told them I probably am not going to want to work at a church, specifically in the media department, and that's primarily because I was seeing a lot of behind the scenes that I just wanted to like separate my career and my personal life. Like I feel like that had to be separate from me, and
Yeah.
I couldn't combine the both. Like that's the work life balance you have to be able to learn how to separate. And so,
Right.
like a few weeks ago, I had an old family friend reach out to me through my business website saying that, and they're a church in DW, where they said that they needed help with social media and they needed my help. And I'm just like, okay. And so I was definitely totally up for helping them, but I just thought it was the irony of I told myself I would probably never work for a church, and yet
And
here's
yet,
a perfect opportunity to help somebody grow their social media page or anything like that.
mhm,
So I'm
mhm.
like, you know what? I think in and I've been learning this. I feel like in a lot of ways, I feel like God has a sense of humor, and
Oh
I feel like
yeah.
that one thing that we feel like we would never do, he's just like maybe we'll see. Um,
Yeah.
so I just find that funny, you know.
Yes.
So
No. I know what you mean.
yeah, all right.
Okay.
Well, um, do you have any closing thoughts?
I'm good. I think we talked a lot. This was good. This was an hour and 32 minutes, and I don't
Yeah,
think there was a lot of dry. There was not a lot of dry areas. We were kind of yapping the
yeah,
whole time. That was good. It was a lot of
yeah. And
fun.
if you can believe it, I didn't touch a single one of my questions.
Yeah, really? We just yapped.
Seriously.
Perfect. Excellent. I had a
Yeah,
lot of fun. This was good. It
yeah,
got deep. I definitely, doing this podcast is tough. It's an art being able to do this for sure. But I had fun
mhm,
because this was good. I'd like to do something like this more in the future for sure.
yeah.
Maybe I might start my own podcast. I don't know.
You should
It
definitely
would be
should
fun.
use something like Streamyard. It's great. It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'd like to do more in-person studio type stuff is the direction I'm going. There's something about not being able to, because I have ADHD. I like to hop in on people's thoughts, but I just can't
Yeah,
do that over the internet because it there's the latency. It makes it tough. But I had a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. So, I always like to end every episode with a blessing from Numbers 6:24 through 26. May
Okay.
the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And may the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. This has been an amazing journey. If you guys can believe this, this is only episode 8, and I believe I hit a pretty big milestone. Between these past 8 episodes, between all my platforms, I just hit about 35,000 views, which is absolutely insane. I really never expected anything like this to happen. So I just want to thank you guys for the support. I hope you guys enjoy your rest of your weekends. And yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Amen.